Okay, so back to
Yeah.
Sturgis. So
Yeah, well, no, I'll go back real quick to when the band started from the Craigslist
yeah.
ad, which we all got together in a garage and we were just doing three songs. I think it was Night Train, Paradise City, and Sweet Child of Mine, and they all sounded really good, surprisingly.
Hmm.
We thought, okay, we've got something here. How far are guys in their mid 30s going to take something like this? And one of us was extra motivated to go to Sturgis, and he said all roads lead to Sturgis. It was all about getting there. So how do you put together a press kit and get a gig that everybody in the country that was in our position, openers, opening acts, working people, want those gigs? If you're Sammy Hagar, Sammy's getting the call. He's not pursuing gigs. People are
Hmm.
pursuing him. So you have to work extra hard to get these shows. So we did our press kit. Um, well, we started putting it together from the very first show. So we've got video and audio, really bad audio
Hmm.
recordings from almost everything, hoping to capture something that works. So you take a lot of photos to hope you get one good one, kind of thing. Started in July. First gig was in September as an opening act. Only needed a dozen songs, and then after that, we started piling stuff on. And managed to book 5 shows in Sturgis in 2006. The first one being at the Loud American Roadhouse, which is in town, big biker bar. It's a really popular place. And then the rest of them were at the Full Throttle Saloon, which more
Wow.
people are familiar with. Um, we were supposed to be doing opening for the headliner one night, and the headliner was a band called Enough's Enough,
Hmm.
and their plane couldn't
Oh
make
yeah.
it because of weather, so we got the headlining spot that night
Very cool.
on the outdoor stage, which was nice. There's one really bad video clip of that. I mean, poor quality.
Uh,
That's floating around on YouTube. Um, and
so they must have received you guys pretty well if you,
Oh yeah. I
yeah.
mean, well, we didn't create the product, which is the thing. You're just basically giving them something they already like,
Hmm.
and if you do it in a respectable format, which is dress up and play the part. I always compare this to like Disneyland. You have a guy that's a Mickey, a Goofy, a
Hmm.
Donald, a Pluto. You just put the outfit on, you go out and do your thing. And in all effects, it really is that way. And I found out more so when I went to play with the second GNR tribute in Texas. You've got the same characters: the Mickey, the Pluto, the Donald.
Hmm.
It
So did
doesn't.
that band reach out to you?
They did, and they did. They needed a substitute singer. Our band is in 2016 was doing a TV show on Access TV, AXS TV,
Hmm.
called World's Greatest Tribute Bands. We had sent in an audition tape. It was reviewed by Katie Darrell. She wanted to hire us for that. They flew us to her. We went down to LA. They didn't fly us. We went down to LA. We got paid a stipend for the performance, which was live on TV at the Whiskey A Go Go,
Hmm.
which was 29 years to the day from the last time GNR had played on that stage. It
Interesting.
was kind of
Yeah.
a neat little thing. I was trying to find things historically significant about it. Anyways, we did Sturgis the first time in 2006. 1 month before we went out, our drummer locally, his wife, decided she didn't want him to go. He's a family man now. He doesn't get to go off and do this thing. So we were booked, committed for shows on the way home, not on the way there, but on the way home. So we would have had to walk out of these things. Um, we used MySpace to track down a GNR tribute that was also pretty good out of Texas, out of Dallas. Different one, but
Hmm.
connected family, interestingly. Called their drummer up and said, can you meet us there? We'll pay you half of what we'll pay you for the show up front. So we paid him. I think we paid him $800 to go from Dallas to South Dakota, play a bunch of shows, and then go home. So we sent him $400, sight unseen except for video.
Right.
He met us in the Full Throttle Saloon parking lot with a $12 7 Up in his hand and said, hey, nice to meet you. And then we had a rehearsal that night and a show the next day. Um,
Wow.
the day shows, they had to be 4 hours long because they were bar sets. They weren't just a regular concert set. The The outside stage was the 90-minute show, but the indoor during the day show, they wanted 4 hours of entertainment. So we didn't have enough music. So we were learning songs on the way to Sturgis in the truck, and he was learning songs that we knew that he didn't know on his way from Dallas into South Dakota. And we were doing things like on the fly, and it just came out amazing. He's still a good friend of ours today.
Wow. That's so cool.
And then,
So how many songs is 4 hours? It's like 40?
well, it's it's 4 45-minute sets, so it's
Okay.
truly like a little over 3 hours worth of music, which you're getting up close to 40 songs, which and 40 Guns N' Roses songs. If you think Civil War is 8 minutes long, November Rain is 10 minutes long, Coma is 10 minutes long. A lot of these songs
Yeah.
are really, I could fill a 1 hour set with 4 tunes,
Right, right.
which nobody wants that, but
Yeah,
we could.
yeah.
You split all those up, and you do the cover songs that Guns N' Roses did. You just don't do anything else that they did not do, because then you start to lose the authenticity of what you're looking for. We didn't make it back in 07. We went back in 08, and that one Debbie went with me. We went back in 09. Debbie went again, and we went in 11. And Debbie went on that one too. Each one got a little more relaxed, because you knew what to expect. Going into Sturgis, you like all these guys on bikes. You kind of don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to be, a rough and tumble kind of environment. It's like it's doctors and attorneys.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. So have you met any of the Guns guys?
The only one that I've really met was Duff McKagan when we were doing Portland Rock Fest in 2012. He was, before he had gotten back with Guns N' Roses, was doing a side project called Loaded, and he lives in Seattle, and they drove down. So I met him in the parking lot. I looked outside of the RV window in the morning, because we had played Friday night at the pre-party on the big stage, and the next morning it was about 7:30, and I looked out the RV window through the blinds, and I saw Duff getting out of his, I don't know if it's an Escalade, but it was a large SUV, and he was just parked like 3 spots away from me. So I'm like, hey, there's Duff, and I took my coffee, and I walked out there, and I stood next, about close together as we were. I was standing there with my coffee, and he's considerably taller than I am, so he kind of like looked down at me like, do I know you, or can I help you, or why are you?
Do you need help?
I mean,
Do you need help, sir?
I was just outside of his space,
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
I would have
yeah.
been closer, he might have said, excuse me, but
Yeah.
And I introduced myself, and we talked, and he had a book that just came out about the same time.
Uh-huh.
So I met him again like a month later on his book tour, got to ask him a few more questions. I have a picture with me and him and Debbie
Yeah.
from that show. And then the other guy from Guns that I met was, I met Izzy Stradlin back in 92. I was working in LA Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm.
He had just quit Guns N' Roses a couple months before, and I didn't even know, because they didn't tell a lot of people that he had quit the band. They just kind of brought somebody else in to finish the tour. He walked in and bought a harmonica from me, said he was working in a new project, and he introduced himself as Jess Isbell. I just quit my band, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who are you with? I had no idea. I was talking to him. I'm looking right at him. I had no idea. I felt like such a tool. But I got his autograph. We talked a little more, and
Yeah.
his solo stuff at that period was really good. Very Rolling Stonesy.
Oh.
Very cool. And then I've had some conversation with his replacement, Gilby Clark, like in the last 5 years.
And that's where your dog's name came from, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had said I have a dog that I named after you,
Oh, God, that's
and
hilarious.
he thought that was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, very good.
Yeah. And then there's a million other adventures along the way that have just,
I know we'll have to do a whole just music one.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Bullet Boys and Tracy Gunn's experience, and meeting Cinderella in Montana, and that it's very scrapbooky. All the kinds of things that you wish, the pictures I have in my mind, I wish I had actual photos. I mean, I got a couple of photos here and there, but
Yeah.
there are so many cool moments.
Yeah.
Funny things that happen. Best way for any band to get good is to spend a lot of time together. Best way to get good in real estate is to spend a lot of time doing it.
Mhm.
Have your head in the contracts.
Yep.
meet people, show houses,
Yep.
you know,
Know the inventory.
experience,
Yep.
yeah, know the inventory, experience the economic environment, and to know what people are really doing and thinking. And
Yeah.
you know, I think I come from a diverse enough background that I have a different understanding. The only thing that I lack is the years of experience that fortunately Debbie's got a
Right.
lot of.
That's
So
it's a perfect match. Yeah.
yeah,
Are there any dates in the future for any guns shows?
Guns N' Roses probably not. It's part of the reason I got out of it. Not as young as I used to be when I got
Mm-hmm.
into this, and the instrument doesn't hold up as well. So I thought before anyone starts criticizing me for what I can no longer do, like a 27-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to walk away from it. So I retired in July last year. And the Bon Jovi thing you might see some more of. I'm actually looking at the Hairfest show for next year, which hasn't really been announced yet. But
Cool.
yeah, probably make an appearance there, even if it's just doing something acoustic.
Yeah.
You know, two of us, me and my Richie Sambora,
Right.
be there, and we'll do those songs acoustically the way you remember them.
Yeah. Now, so is Richie back now? Did I read that?
I haven't officially seen it. I've seen different news sources reporting that he's coming back
Yeah.
or he wants to come back, but I haven't seen anything where John and Richie are actually together having that press conference about getting back together. I think if they do that, it'll be an indication that they're done
Mm-hmm.
and that it's just like we're going to do one more series of shows around the world, you know, a dozen shows. It turns into, you know, 24 shows,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll be done.
Yeah.
John's voice doesn't sound like it used to at all.
Oh my gosh, I saw him do something the other day, and it just sounded horrible.
Yeah, it's you never know exactly what caused it. I've seen a lot of their video, and going back to about 2015 or 16, you start to notice some changes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy enough to tune down the guitars, all the instruments, to make sure that you can sing it a little more easily.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gotten to where even that is difficult. So much like Billy Joel or Elton John has backup singers to cover some of the higher
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Bon Jovi has kind of always had that, but John's parts have even gotten difficult. And I don't know if it's an age thing, a smoking thing, a drinking thing. I never thought of him as being a heavy drinker at all, or even possibly a COVID thing that may have messed him up in a respiratory sense and being able to go through all of the songs, changing the structure of the vocal cords or who knows what. But he doesn't sound the same, you know, and I'm a big Motley Crue fan, and like Vince Neil, everybody knows, does not sound anything like he used to.
Right.
Paul Stanley
Yeah.
doesn't sound anything like he used to. But you know, did you see their last show?
I did not know.
Yeah, I've seen clips from it, and from the very first song coming out of the gate, I'm like, he's gonna struggle. Haven't seen the whole show. As a professional, you do your best.
Mm-hmm.
You get through it. You put on a very good visual presentation, and you know, it's kind of like when somebody draws a line that's incomplete, your mind completes the line. You can see it. You can see it, even though it's not all there.
Right.
Your brain will do the same thing with the lyrics. That's why singers will often take their microphone and hold it out because they don't want to sing it. It's like, I need some energy for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you do this.
Yeah. Vince did a lot of that the last few years.
Yep.
Like a whole song.
Yeah.
Almost.
And I don't know how much he's taking care of himself physically to be able to do more.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard any of the Mick Mars album?
I heard the one solo song that he released.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
one
just came out yesterday or the day before. I haven't heard it yet, but all right, man.
Yeah, we can be done.
That was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.